Now from the KakeLand Studios, this is a KAKE First Alert Severe Weather Special.
25 years ago, on April 26, 1991, 13 people were killed here at the Golden Spur Mobile Home Park in what was to become known as the Andover tornado. Now, there were other violent and deadly storms that day, but with the highest death toll, we're going to focus on this storm. Thanks to the increasing popularity of VHS camcorders and its path across a populated area, it became one of the first killer storms captured on videotape several times from several different angles. These images would later help tell a tragic story of nature's fury and provide valuable data for severe weather research, but they did nothing to warn others in the path. Let's go back to 1991, when the Weather Service office in Wichita was located here. And remember the tools and techniques available to the integrated warning team, encompassing the National Weather Service, emergency managers, and broadcast television. Most usually think of weather radar as the primary tool of tornado detection. Installed in April of 1960, the National Weather Service's WSR-57 at then Wichita Municipal Airport was already slated for replacement. This conventional radar, with its phosphor tube display, needed to be viewed in a darkened room. The radar operator would manually trace the echoes on a paper overlay, then pass the map to the meteorologist in the adjoining room. KAKE had access to and was able to broadcast the radar's data in color.
We knew it was a bad storm. There was no doubt about it. We knew it was bad, but to see all the hook echoes and the bounded weak echo regions in it and all of this, no, it wasn't there that day on our radar.
Ground clutter, the area of unusable data surrounding the WSR-57 radar, covered most of Wichita and Sedgwick County. The remote display took this photograph of the tornadic storm a few minutes before striking Andover. Any telltale hook echo was lost in the ground clutter. For this storm, the radar was useless. A check of the official Weather Service radar operator's logbook shows only one entry for a hook echo from this deadly storm at 6:55. Well past Andover, the tornado was between Towanda and El Dorado. KAKE had its own radar, too. Originally installed in 1972, this WR-100 on top of the KAKE studios at West and 13th Street North was upgraded to a Doppler radar in 1984.
We had a little portable TV in the kitchen that wasn't hooked up to cable or anything. It was just rabbit ears, and the only station you could get worth a darn with rabbit ears in Douglas was KAKE. And I turned on KAKE, and I remember Jim going nuts, and there was stuff on radar. I saw the hook in Cowley County, and I remember him talking about what was going on in Sedgwick, and oh my God, and that's when I headed to Wichita.
Unfortunately, we can't find the actual off-air air checks from that day. We don't know how Jim O'Donnell was presenting on air with KAKE's radar and what it showed or what it didn't show. Now, it did work pretty well at times. This is a recording from over a year earlier. This is the Heston tornado back in 1990, and you can see it tracking over Heston all the way to part in Marion County before that started to dissipate. But we have no clue how KAKE's radar was doing in terms of any hook echo as that moved across Sedgwick County and into Butler County. So the big question remains, without adequate radar data, how were warnings issued in such a timely manner?
It was a very, very visible storm, and we were getting lots and lots of ground truth information. And so we could put out things telling exactly where it was. The TV stations were doing the very same thing because they were getting it. It was a great storm to take pictures of. And so from that's what the warnings were issued off of.
Chronicled on the Severe Weather Action Log, a cadre of trained storm chasers, including ham radio operators, law enforcement, emergency management, radio, television, and weather enthusiasts, delivered position updates via two-way radio and amateur radio, as well as telephone. At 5:30 p.m., a Sumner County sheriff sights a tornado south of Conway Springs, followed by Sumner County spotter number 112 at 5:45. 1 minute later, a tornado warning for northwestern Sumner and Sedgwick County is issued. A new tornado warning for Sedgwick County, including Hayesville, McConnell Air Force Base, and southeast Wichita at 6:09, based on new reports received at 6 and 6:01, including this ham radio observation 1 mile east of Clearwater. More confirmation. A Sumner County sheriff tracks the tornado moving through Hayesville. Later, another spotter from Oaklawn and 47th South, just west of K-15 at 6:27. The next tornado warning is issued at 6:30, extending the alert into Butler County and Andover. At 6:35, McConnell Air Force Base reports damage to the base housing and school. Then at 6:40, a ham radio operator reports the now F5 tornado near Andover Road and US 54. These weather alerts, including the severe weather statement sent at 6:29, reporting the tornado tearing across McConnell Air Force Base, were transmitted to KAKE TV and other media via a relatively new satellite-delivered weather wire service connected to a dot matrix printer. Jim O'Donnell would rip and read these bulletins within seconds of their issuance. The general public, other than TV and radio, relied on NOAA weather radio and outdoor warning systems, the tornado sirens, to be notified of dangerous weather, except in Andover at the Golden Spur Trailer Park, where the sirens failed that day. One Andover police sergeant drove through the park less than 10 minutes before it struck, with his siren wailing, desperately trying to warn the residents. There was still enough daylight afterwards to bear witness to the devastation. This was one of the first aerial damage surveys. So how have things improved since 1991? Other than the addition of a new building for the National Weather Service, the modernization of the 90s brought with it Doppler radar. The WSR-88D, known by its more popular name NEXRAD, was a quantum leap in storm detection and analysis. Ground clutter suppression removed most of Wichita from its blind spot. Higher resolution reflectivity data provided a more detailed storm picture. It incorporated a volume scanning strategy, allowing the entire storm environment to be sampled, and for the first time, the ability to sense wind direction and speed relative to the radar. Meteorologists could now detect rotation inside of a thunderstorm, long before a hook would appear on conventional radar. The radar equipment room and operator came out of the darkened room and worked alongside the other meteorologists on duty. Within a few years, the NEXRAD's data would be integrated, appearing on everyone's workstation. Later, the resolution of the radar data was increased, yielding even more storm detail. The next major advance, an upgrade to dual polarization in 2011. The primary benefit is the identification of debris lofted by a damaging tornado. Greater Wichita has an additional, lesser-known weather radar. The Federal Aviation Administration maintains a terminal Doppler radar just east of Clearwater. This lower power, shorter range system covers the airspace surrounding both Eisenhower National Airport and McConnell Air Force Base. Initially intended solely for flight safety support, its value to the warning process was quickly realized. The exact same NEXRAD and terminal Doppler weather radar data that's seen at the Weather Service flows into the KAKE First Alert Forecast Center. Our team of trained, experienced, board-certified meteorologists can independently analyze storms, looking at their severe potential and tracking their movement. Even with very powerful and accurate Doppler radar, trained, knowledgeable eyes in the field reporting what they see is an indispensable tool. Law enforcement, emergency management, ham radio operators, and also trained weather enthusiasts are just as indispensable today. Storm chasing has evolved greatly since the early 90s. The new century brought an onslaught of new chasers. Most important, the capability to reliably and affordably transmit live video while moving. Not just for broadcast television and use on the internet, live chaser streams have become part of the warning process. This is KAKE First Alert Storm Tracker Bryce Kintai and the crew from Forever Chasing. Their live images allow meteorologists to examine the structure of storms before tornadoes develop and track them after they form. The Weather Service has incorporated the use of known and trusted chasers into its workflow.
Now with that camera, that gives you a very visual, of what you're seeing. If you see a rotating wall cloud, you're going to see that on screen. And we knew that, here at Wichita, and I know other offices do quite a bit with that streaming information coming in through the various storm chasing outlets. So they may not personally call, but we can view their video, and that's also very helpful for us too.
Real-time, instant collaboration between the partners of the weather enterprise came to reality in the early 2000s with the development of a private internet chat room. Broadcast meteorologists, emergency management, and the National Weather Service all in one place. This streamlined communication channel speeds the flow of spotter and damage reports between the participating agencies. The Wichita Weather Service office was an early adopter of this technology.
The integrated warning team approach is one that has been used here at Wichita for many, many years. And so, in fact, I think Wichita was one of the first offices in the nation to actually integrate that chat, first the Iowa Mesonet, and then which evolved into the NWS chat into operations. Because it has been, prior to my time here, seen essential that we work together. Whoever, the spotters, media, the Weather Service work together to get the information out.
This is that old satellite-delivered weather wire I was talking about. We still have the dot matrix printer, but today, whenever watch or warning is issued, it flows immediately into these computers here in the KAKE First Alert Forecast Center. It also appears instantly on the bottom of your HD TV if you're watching KAKE or MeTV. It appears on the KAKE weather app. It goes to KAKE.com, and it goes out via KAKE's social media services. So there has never been a better time to stay warned of threatening weather, whether you're at home or you're on the go. Now, we are not perfect. When it comes to a very weak brief tornado or a damaging wind event for a very small area, we may still miss one of those. But the good news, when it comes to strong and violent tornadoes, when it comes to widespread wind gusts, we are almost certain not only to detect those events, but to give you warning. Speaking of warning, anytime you're in a mobile home or you're out driving in a car when a tornado approaches, we used to tell you always abandon your car. Well, that recommendation has changed. KAKE's First Alert meteorologist Frank Waugh shares the latest research.
There's no arguing the best way to survive a tornado is to be in an underground shelter. But what happens if you find yourself in one of these? For decades, you've heard things like get out of your car and get into a ditch. But is that really the best option?
If you have no place to go, it's almost never going to be better to get outside into a storm.
That's Professor Thomas Schmidlin, meteorologist and professor at Kent State University.
We had studied that jump in the ditch idea for a long time, and we could find no science whatsoever that backed up getting out of a mobile home or out of a vehicle and laying down in a ditch during a tornado warning. It just didn't make sense in so many ways.
Schmidlin's research helped shape recommendations from the Red Cross and the National Weather Service that were released in 2009. They suggest the following if you cannot get into a sturdy shelter. Immediately get into a vehicle, buckle your seatbelt, and try to drive to the closest sturdy shelter. If flying debris occurs while you're driving, pull over and park. Now you have the following options as a last resort. Stay in the car with the seatbelt on. Put your head down below the windows, covering your head with your hands or a blanket. If you can get safely to lower ground, exit your car and lie in that area, covering your head with your hands. A recent analysis of nearly 1,000 tornado vehicle interactions backs up these guidelines. Take a look at this. That analysis found that between EF0 to EF2 tornadoes, when encountering a vehicle, only about 5% of those vehicles were lofted or rolled. When it came to EF3 and EF4 tornadoes, roughly 15% of vehicles were lofted or rolled. And when we're talking about EF5 tornadoes, it is greater, but we're looking at 31% of vehicles being lofted or rolled. It's important to remember that all situations are different, and a one-size-fits-all rule does not apply when it comes to survival. When we come back, we'll discuss hazards that should be avoided if you decide to get out of your vehicle.
When we return, when severe weather is in the forecast, we'll take you through the process of the day of the analysis and forecasting of tornado weather.
Do you know which state ranks first in total EF5 tornadoes? Is it Kansas, Oklahoma, or Texas? The answer when we return.
When tornado sirens sound, do you have a safe place to go? Protection Shelters means peace of mind. Tested by Texas Tech engineers and rated for an EF5 tornado winds up to 250 miles per hour, we build room addition shelters to your specifications and to match the exterior of your home. Perfect for homes with elderly, children, pets, wheelchairs, and new home construction. Call Protection Shelters today at 722-4499 or visit protectionshelters.com to find affordable tornado protection for your family.
The Mattress Hub brings you the complete selection of America's most recommended bed, Tempur-Pedic, and our industry-exclusive guarantee. On Tempur-Pedic, find free delivery, up to 72 months interest-free financing, a 1-year comfort guarantee, a free gift up to $300, and only at the Mattress Hub, receive an extra 5-year extended warranty on all Tempur-Pedic. Nobody does Tempur-Pedic like your locally owned Mattress Hub.
Follow the cheap sheet to the Mattress Hub. Greatness isn't something you're born with. It's cultivated, nurtured. It's forged by power and choice. True greatness is only achieved when we know why we're meant to be great. To protect, to sustain, to be invincible. Even if just in their eyes. Select Cellular Exteriors by Royal, siding that's power engineered for beauty and performance, exclusively at Eaton Roofing and Exteriors.
Make your tax dollars go farther at Cherry Orchard Furniture. Get this comfy sofa and love seat or recliner in 3 colors. 2 pieces, only $5.98. Free layaway or free financing up to 36 months. Don't miss this huge tax time savings event at Cherry Orchard Furniture.
Weather radios work best when programmed for your area.
This coming Tuesday, meet Jay Prater at the Dillons at Maple at 135th West in Wichita from 3:30 to 7. He'll help you program your radio to protect your family and loved ones across Cakeland. Which state ranks first in total EF5 tornadoes? The answer? Kansas with 7.
If you decide to get out of your vehicle, you need to think about getting to a lower spot than the road. But the ditch isn't nearly as safe as you think it is.
Ditches aren't such good places. People think, well, the wind will blow over top of the ditch. And it may to some extent, but we've all seen ditches after a tornado just full of debris. So just like ditches collect snow, they collect debris in high winds.
A concrete culvert like this one may look like the perfect storm shelter, but remember, these are made to handle large amounts of water. In 2013, a family of 7 escaping the El Reno tornado drowned when they were swept away in a flood-prone area. And what about those bridges? Research says they're still not safe. When wind travels under the bridge, it's restricted and actually speeds up. It's the same effect as putting your thumb on the end of a garden hose. As you can see, no option is perfect. The best bet, use your vehicle to get to a sturdy shelter. For KAKE News on your side, I'm Frank Waugh.
Thank you, Frank. For additional resources, head over to KAKE.com and click on Find It. There you'll find a complete listing of all the storm shelters located along the Kansas Turnpike. When we're anticipating a day of severe weather, including tornadoes, it starts early with analysis and forecasting. KAKE's First Alert meteorologist Ben Pringle takes us through that day.
The watch and warning process for severe weather has many layers and involves many people in the event of dangerous storms. A typical day begins with the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. The weather forecast process at SPC begins with the convective outlook, which is a forecast of where both severe and non-severe thunderstorms are expected to occur around the country. Areas of possible severe thunderstorms are labeled marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, or high risk. Once the thunderstorms appear imminent, a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch is issued for the area in question. This is when the local National Weather Service offices take over, monitoring the strength and direction and movement of the thunderstorms. And of course, the local offices use surface and upper air data as well as storm spotters on the ground to aid in their decision making. But of course, the most important tool of all, Doppler radar. Once winds reach 58 miles per hour or higher, or the hail reaches 1 inch in diameter or larger, a severe thunderstorm warning is issued for the area under threat. Once a tornado is considered imminent, either indicated by radar or spotters on the ground, a tornado warning is issued for the threatened area. Now, once the warning is issued, emergency management may then throw the switch on these outdoor warning devices. Now, usually the only devices that are sounded are the ones that are actually in the triangle or in the polygon that the National Weather Service uses to describe the warned area. That means if you can hear the siren, you're in the danger zone. It's on the inside that KAKE TV becomes your primary source for weather information. In the KAKE First Alert Forecast Center, we also have access to every National Weather Service dual polarization Doppler radar in the nation, including 5 across Cakeland, and all the cutting-edge tools, including the exclusive Weather Bug Network, providing us with live data from around the state. When a severe weather alert day is in effect, we deploy our own trained storm spotters out in the field to bring you up-to-the-second live video and weather information. Long before the National Weather Service is even considering any warnings for our area, our staff of meteorologists will already be tracking the storms from beginning to end. A battery-powered NOAA weather radio is a crucial tool for all businesses, schools, and homes. It's equipped with an alarm that's triggered only when your county or any county of your choosing is warned, alerting you if you're otherwise occupied or asleep. You can then listen to see if you're affected, and of course, if possible, tune in to KAKE TV for up-to-the-second weather information. Recognizing the importance of NOAA Weather Radio, KAKE TV has partnered up with Midland to offer you the most modern weather radio offered. And to help you program your Midland radio or any brand you happen to have, KAKE meteorologist Jay Prater will be heading out across the state to places like Great Bend, Hayes, Garden City, Dodge City, Pratt, Salina, and many locations in Wichita every Tuesday for Weather Radio Tuesday to help you get your radio up and running for the severe weather season.
When we return, KAKE First Alert meteorologist Blake Smith gives us an important lesson on how to submit a quality severe weather report.
With over 10,000 square feet of tools, what can you find at the big tool store? Woodworking tools and accessories. Air tools, hand tools, power tools, precision tools, job boxes, trailers, and accessories. Big or small, we have them all. We're located at K15 and 63rd Street South. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But on Saturdays, get here soon, we close at noon.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets the new Pure Kubota SSV 75 apart. It's how we improved performance, increased strength, and engineered it precisely at every level. See your local Kubota construction equipment dealer and get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years.
Price Brothers Farm and Construction Equipment since 1918.
Seize the moment. Sonatathon is here, and it only happens once a year. Hyundai's known as America's best value, and the awards keep coming with the Kelley Blue Book Best Brand for 5 years cost of ownership. During Sonatathon, save 3 ways. Save up to $5,000 with Sonatas starting from under $20,000, receive 0% for 60 months, or drive for only $179 a month. Don't buy another vehicle without shopping Schofield Hyundai first.
So come on in, take it for a spin, and switch to Schofield Hyundai.
The Garlic Parmesan Bacon Cheeseburger from Spangles. It's here to stay because it's just that great. It's so flavorful and juicy with all the right fixings. Spangles starts with a 1/3 pound premium Black Angus steak burger topped with Parmesan cheese, savory garlic butter, melted Swiss cheese, and of course, bacon, all on grilled sourdough. Spangles Garlic Parmesan Bacon Cheeseburger will have you saying, it just tastes better.
Hey folks, Jerry O'Neill, Continental Siding Supply. It's spring and we're doing some spring cleaning. My new inventory system is streamlining all of my warehouses, and I discovered we're actually overstocked in 9 of our most popular colors. If you can use one of these colors while supplies last, you can save a whopping 30% only from one of my overstocked colors. Enjoy seamless polymer siding at a very affordable payment. Call now.
During KAKE's live continuous coverage of severe weather, photos and videos from you are critical not only to our coverage, but to the warning process. On how to submit a good severe weather report, here's KAKE's First Alert meteorologist Blake Smith.
During active weather, your reports play a vital role in our storm coverage. We love to get them and show them off, but not all reports are created equal. Keep these ideas in mind when reporting on severe weather. First, text is good. Pictures are great and video is amazing. Just remember, while vertical shots might look good on social media, horizontal pictures and video work best for TV. Second, where are you? Often we get great reports but don't know where the video or the photo was taken. This is particularly helpful when tracking multiple storms across KAKE land. And finally, try to be descriptive. The more details, the better. Did the high wind do any damage? Or how big is big hail? If you don't have a ruler handy, no worries. Just get creative when measuring. Use your pocket change, dollar bills, or a coffee cup to give perspective. The last step is getting the report to us. Facebook and Twitter are very fast options, and you can also email us. Just send them to weatherpictures@kake.com.
When severe weather is forecast, it's important to know when to prepare versus when to take action. KAKE First Alert meteorologist Tanner Swift reminds us of the difference.
During severe weather days, you'll hear us talk a lot about watches and warnings. So what is the difference between a watch and a warning? First, a watch is usually issued several hours before the severe weather event. It's issued from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, and usually includes a very large area, perhaps even half of the state. Again, that's for a very large area before the storms develop. That's kind of a heads up. If you see a watch issued for your area, that means severe weather, the favorable conditions are there for severe weather as we head over the next couple of hours, but it doesn't necessarily mean that severe weather is in progress. Now, however, a warning does mean that severe weather is in progress. They're usually much smaller in area, perhaps a county, maybe 2 counties, and they're issued by the local National Weather Service offices. It means that severe weather has either been detected by radar or perhaps spotters, and that is the time that you need to take action.
Do you know where Kansas ranks an average number of tornadoes per year? Are we first, second, or third? The answer when we return.
$1? $2? $3? How much will you pay when you join the YMCA? With so many member benefits, the YMCA is always a great value. And through March 15th, you choose the joiner fee you pay by choosing the date you join. Join March 1st and your joiner fee is only $1. Join the 3rd and it's only $3. The earlier you join, the less you pay. Membership includes unlimited use at all 8 Greater Wichita YMCAs. What are you waiting for? Pay the day and change your life today.
Well, that was a bad accident. Dig up everything you can. That's not going any higher than we have to. What?
Our client was at fault, and the victim called the law offices of Brian and Brian.
Then again.
How much is your case worth? Brian and Brian believes your case is worth more. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Brian and Brian at the Pistotnik Law offices right now.
Get set to save now at your local Kubota dealer. Kubota's BX70 series subcompact tractors are easy to drive, gentle on turf, and powerful enough to handle a wide range of garden and yard chores. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years on a new BX70 and up to $750 in savings when you buy a front loader and second qualifying implement. See your local Kubota dealer today.
Price Brothers Farm and Construction Equipment since 1918.
Greatness isn't something you're born with. It's cultivated, nurtured. It's forged by power and choice. True greatness is only achieved when we know why we're meant to be great. To protect, to sustain, to be invincible. Even if just in their eyes. Select Cellular Exteriors by Royal. Siding that's power engineered for beauty and performance. Exclusively at Eaton Roofing and Exteriors.
There's a lot to see at Nissan Now. Award-winning safety, reimagined design, and premium interiors. 5 exciting new models. This is Nissan Now.
Choose the 2015 Nissan Sentra and save up to $2,250 or get 0% financing for up to 72 months. Get your new Nissan now. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com.
Where does Kansas rank an average number of tornadoes? The answer, Kansas ranks second with an average 61 tornadoes each year. The state with the highest average number is Texas, with around 132.
We hope you enjoyed this KAKE News Severe Weather Special. And we also hope as you prepare for the upcoming severe weather season, you'll keep it on KAKE.
KAKE News on your side.